Take two.
All right. Well,
we're outside in the dark
We're
again.
outside in the dark again, and we're getting ready to do some more chicken stuff. Basically, long story short, if you want to make it easier on yourself to handle chickens, this is at least our experience.
And not have them cry bloody murder.
Well, no guarantee of that, but you want to be able to catch them. If you've got free-range chickens, catching them in the daytime is not always the easiest. Do it at night after they've gone to roost, and they're just generally a whole lot quieter. So what we're out to do is we're going to do a bit of a wing trim on one of our groups. We basically you see from a video a few days ago, we
built a fence,
and it helped, but it didn't solve the problem.
No.
So
they're still flying over.
Phase 2, we're going to give a bit of a wing trim. And what these are, I'll see if I can bring them up here. These are cat nail trimmers. They've got the little hooked end here, which is great for nails. Well, it's also fantastic for trimming feathers. So we're going to show you how we do that. So we're actually going to show you two things here in the dark. And the first one is, this is spring, so essentially every hen that's old enough that we have should be laying. So we are going to take this opportunity to, at least for this group, check and see is there anybody who doesn't look like they're laying well. And if so, we're going to make the decision to call them, which is just kind of another one of those yearly tasks. But we're gonna show you that first, and then we'll show you how we do the wing clip. So here's the chicken's back end. So this girl, if you can see, she's kind of got that swollen-y. Oh, she's moving there. But anyways, she's kind of swollen a little bit in the back end. I would say she may not be a world-class layer, but I would say she's definitely laying. She's kind of got that, for lack of a better way to put it, that puckered look, which is something to look for. And you can feel too, you can't really see it on camera, but you can feel her abdomen in here is pretty full too, which usually also helps you tell if they're laying. So, try to do this in the dark, because the bird will be happier. So here's your wing. And you're basically to this feather here where my thumb is. These long ones are all what's called the primaries. So they're, in most birds, they're the primary flight feathers. And these over here, that on the partridge chantecler just happen to have a nice modeling on them, are the secondaries. So if I spread the wing out, you can sort of see the difference. And there is a third type over here called the tertiaries, but on chickens it doesn't really matter too much. Then you have these feathers here, which are basically coverts. There's greater and lesser coverts. But what we're going to do is, instead of just chopping this wing off, we call it like the comfortable wing trim. And you basically part the coverts, and you'll see you've got the shaft in there. Now this time of year, these feathers are fully mature, so I have no concern about cutting a blood vessel. But if they were still growing feathers back in, you do want to watch that, because they will bleed profusely. But these are hollow. And what we're going to do, I'll see if I can do this all in one motion here.
I can help if there's anything.
Well, I think we can. So what we're going to do, she's being very calm. We take our trimmers, and we're well up above. There's the coverts. So we're well up above.
Now, do you want to, as you're doing this, just explain why it's important that you don't chop those coverts?
Well, I'll show you. So we cut. And basically, I fold this back. Of course, it's not going to lay perfect, but when the wing goes back, you'll see the coverts are longer than the... what that basically does is it covers that cut edge. So the cut edge is way down here, so that when she folds her wings up, she won't feel it. But if you cut it out here, those ends will poke into her side, and they don't. It doesn't look as clean when it's all said and done, and it's not as comfortable for the bird. So we're going to go ahead and see if I can clip a few more of these with her without her getting too fidgety. She's being pretty good. It's a very easy task, and you can't really mess it up too much.
Now, how many would you ideally be wanting to make sure you clip?
Well, you're basically clipping right to the edge of so there's the secondaries. Mm-hmm. So I'd be going, I kind of started in the middle, which wasn't necessarily ideal. Make sure I get her head back under my arm. You can kind of see the way I'm holding her too. We're doing this taking longer than normal. She's pretty calm. I kind of tuck her head under my arm. And I'm almost done, girl, so see if I can get you done. You're being a very good girl for this, considering I've woke you up in the middle of an April night. It's actually quite a nice April night. So, I'm just going to grab her legs because there you can basically see they're all cut and they're all protected by the coverts.
Yeah, nice and soft.
And
edging.
she'll fluff them up a bit too. I mean, I've got them kind of out of whack a bit, but when she folds them in under there, they'll sit relatively nice against her body, and she won't even really feel it. So you can hear the coyotes in the background. But one thing about this too, when you're clipping wings like this, you're better to only clip one wing. And the reason for that is if they try, well, you can really hear the coyotes. If they try to fly, what happens is it puts them off balance because this wing has no primaries, so they get no lift, essentially. Birds, it's all, they call it wing area to body weight ratio as to how well they can get off the ground. So I'm going to put her back, and we're going to go through the rest of these and get this little job done. It goes a lot quicker. I mean, we were kind of showing the process, so it's taking a while. But as you can see, they're a lot calmer at night when you do this. So we're going to go ahead and finish up. Well, everybody's done. I don't want to wake these girls up too much, but when we went through and did this, we were missing one. So I will show you where she is. And there she is. So she has gone broody, which means that we are going to set up another broody little pen in the barn and get her moved tonight, which is awesome. That little set of jobs is done, and everybody's got their new fancy wing clip done, so we'll see how that works. If they stay where they're supposed to and don't get into what's going to be the garden space, because that's the ultimate problem right now. But and the added bonus of a hen who's decided to go broody, so that's also awesome. So on that note, not too bad of a evening's job. Now, one thing we didn't mention, for those who don't know, the feathers, clipping feathers like that's pretty much the same as clipping your fingernails, as long as you don't cut too close, which we were nowhere near the skin, and as long as you, like I said, you don't cut when they're growing, because they do have a blood vessel in there when they are growing. As long as they're not growing, you really can't hurt them, which is nice. Feathers are made out of the exact same material as fingernails and hair, so they just don't grow back as fast as hair or fingernails do. Well, it's the next day, so we're going to let this group of chickens out and see if by the end of the day they stay where they're supposed to. There's our collection of trimmed wing feathers from last night. We're going to go ahead and let this group out, and hopefully they stay where they're supposed to. Hey chickens, hopefully you stay where you're supposed to. As you can see, the sun's getting low in the horizon there, and I am happy to report nobody escaped today. So our little wing trim seems to have worked. Seems to have worked pretty well, actually, if I do say so, and nobody seems to be unhappy. So I guess a win-win. So I'm going to get these guys in for the evening, but yeah, that's our little tip on if you need to keep chickens grounded and you want to give them a comfortable trim, I guess. This sort of one wing trim definitely works.